Okay. First of all, I should say well done, everyone, on getting your essay submitted. That's quite a hurdle to get over. And you'll get feedback on that work as soon as possible. The general rule is that feedback and marks, provisional marks, should be available within 3 weeks of the essay being submitted. So I think that takes us to around about the first week of December. So you'll get feedback quite soon, and you will then be able to use that feedback for your second assignment. And this is going to be a brief introduction to that assignment. First of all, it is another essay, and it will be written in using the same format, the same style. It's a piece of academic analytical writing. It should be no more than 1,500 words. With the last one, I said you could go over by 10%. But for this one, I want you to keep it nice and concise, no more than 1,500 words and a minimum of 1,350 words. So you're already familiar with the general approach to film studies analysis. You've demonstrated that by writing your essay on cinematic storytelling in Alien. And I want you to do something similar with this essay. The big difference is that you're going to choose the film that interests you for your subject. So the first thing that you have to do, and the reason why I'm putting this video out now in advance of the class, is you have to select the film that you're going to look at. So it's a film that should certainly be of interest to you, perhaps a film that you've admired for a while, or it may be a film that you've seen relatively recently and you can't get it out of your mind. I should add here that it does have to be a film that I can get access to if I've not already seen it. So it should be a film that's available online, or at least so I can get it on DVD. It should be a film that you consider to be worth discussing in detail, a film that you think achieves something. It doesn't have to be a classic. Often classics are a wee bit overrated. It just has to be a film that you find compelling. So once you've chosen the film, you'll write about how it works to provide you with a satisfying experience. And for this module, we're focused on cinematic storytelling. So do make sure that that's your focus. Don't select a film just because it's got an actor you like, or because it's an adaptation of a book you like. Select a film that works as a film for you, so you can talk about those storytelling techniques that we've covered already in the first half of the module. So you will have to incorporate some discussion of the film's use of camera or editing or sound, or perhaps all three. Certainly, at least one of these should be discussed in detail. So just to get you started, a popular filmmaker that students are often interested in for this kind of essay topic is Edgar Wright. His films are fun but have emotional resonance. They provide a kind of humorous, mildly critical take on some of the absurd aspects of everyday life. And the thing about Wright's films is that they're easy to enjoy, which can make them difficult to analyze. We get swept up by them. They move fast. They keep throwing visual and character-based gags at us. And a very natural response is simply to say, I just like these films. They make me feel good for 90 minutes. I don't have to think to enjoy them. I just enjoy them. So our task in an essay on Edgar Wright would be to find out exactly how the film's makers enjoy their work. And it's not difficult really once we start thinking about it to see how Edgar Wright uses quite a um, pronounced style that can be discussed in terms perhaps of the development of a particularly energetic, almost cartoonish use of camera framing, editing, and sound. Um, and it's the way he shows his characters and their situations that creates a feeling of exuberant complexity. His style says, don't take this too seriously, but at the same time, it's drawing us in and encouraging emotional involvement. So in a way, well, perhaps you think this already, Wright's a very clever filmmaker. So, but this essay, you will have to make reference to critical discussion available in the academic literature. This may be material that's directly relevant. It may be a film studies text that discusses new British filmmakers, and Edgar Wright might have a chapter. I'm not sure. I've not looked into Wright in any real detail. But you may find published books or published academic essays, not blogs, not fan sites, and not newspaper reviews, but academic work that has some kind of theoretical, conceptual, or analytical substance to it. If you can't find specific literature on the film that you're interested in, you'll certainly be able to use the more general literature which we've started to look at in the first part of the course. You know, you can go back to Buckland, but I'm sure you'll want to draw upon some other texts now that talk about techniques of cinematic storytelling, techniques of cinematic narration, of creation of point of view, of alignment and identification, focalization, all those kinds of things. Either way, your essay must incorporate some of the relevant critical academic literature, use the technical terms, theoretical concepts that are found in that literature. So my hope is that you're going to get stuck into a film that means something to you. Perhaps it's a film that you've always wanted to spend some time thinking about. It may be a film that you find compelling but puzzling. Sometimes they're the most interesting films to consider, ones that you don't quite understand, but you can't get your head around them, and you can't just forget them. So there's a chance there to linger over a film that you found interesting and want to do some more work on. Perhaps you want to select a film that's the kind of film that you aspire to make. That would be good. It would make sense. You could use this assignment as a kind of exercise in clarifying precisely what it is that you aspire to do with your filmmaking. Maybe not now, but eventually, maybe next year, you'll start making films in the style of Edgar Wright. That would be okay. So how can you go about getting a better understanding of how that style of filmmaking works so that you can go about achieving it, not necessarily copying it, but using it as inspiration? So in the first instance, come up with the film. Think about a claim you'd make for it. What claim would you make for Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, or Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman? Or perhaps you want to do a classic, Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. And then what evidence would you provide to support that claim? We're going to discuss this in much more detail on Thursday, but I do want you all to come with a movie that interests you and you'd like to discuss in more detail. So give it some thought and bring your thoughts to the class on Thursday. I'll send the Zoom link out by Wednesday morning.